Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, January 13th. Decided to record today because yesterday was supposed to be a sunny to cloudy day, and today was supposed to be mostly sunny. Now the forecast changed, and today's supposed to be sunny to cloudy, so we'll see what we get. But anyway, right now it's nice out, a little on the chilly side. Truck says 25, but my Jeep said 19 when I came in here, so we'll split the difference and say it's 22. Cold enough that the cap is frozen on, so we'll need the hammer to get that open to get our first load. Today we have Tamaqua to Fogelsville, then Well in the Woods to Lansdale, and then another Tamaqua to Fogelsville. 3 loads today, so we'll see how it goes. We did that same thing yesterday, and it ended up being 8.5 hours, so nice work day, not too long, not too short, just probably perfect if you want to get technical about it. But anyway, we already pre-tripped the truck, so we're just letting her finish warming up a little bit and get our paperwork started, and then we'll be out of here and roll up to get our first load. Alright, so northbound 309 heading up toward the Tamaqua well. Like I said, today is going to be a beautiful day, at least to start. It's chilly, but it's going to be a beautiful day. It's supposed to go up to 42, so I'm not going to complain about 42 in January. If every day was between 40 and 45 degrees during the winter months here in eastern Pennsylvania, I would take it. But that's not how it works. But that's what we're going to have today, and I'll take it, because later in the week, Thursday, we might have some snow in the morning, and then Friday's supposed to be pretty cold, maybe only a high of 25. Right now it's 25 here, and that may only be the high on Friday. And again, on MLK Day, it's supposed to be cold. So they take these 40s when we can get them. I wouldn't mind it being in the 50s again, like a few days ago, but we'll take the 40s. Anything above freezing makes hauling water easier. So. But anyway, we're going up to this one. This one we don't have to worry so much about somebody being in front of us. Of course, now that I said that, maybe somebody will be there. But generally, not too many trucks go into this particular well, so it works out pretty nice. I don't know what day I'm going to bring the cameras out. If we have an interesting type morning with either snow on the ground or snow falling, then I'll bring it out Thursday. Maybe I'll bring it out Friday. I don't know. It's hard to do more than 2 videos a week because of how long it takes to edit them, and especially how long it takes to upload them to YouTube. Because I upload at such a high quality, it takes a good 8 hours to get a video completely uploaded to YouTube. Because I'm using 4K, so that anybody who has the capability of watching the video can watch it in the highest quality and have a nice clear picture. So I could make it easier on myself, but then the video quality would be less. So anyway, climbing the ridge cup here, and it doesn't look like there's any trucks in front of us, so we're going to make quick work of it. You get behind a truck on here, sometimes you're down to 20 miles an hour, but nobody's ahead of us. Alright, so it was asked of me in the last video if we need to vent our trailers, and yes we do, especially using pumps to load and unload. There's quite a bit of pressure. And so what we have is a dedicated vent up top. It's an open vent with an elbow on it that prevents anything from getting inside of it. And there's a screen mesh too to keep insects out, but that's how it's vented. And we've not ever had a problem with it freezing up. But like I said, it's a dedicated open vent. We don't have to actually open any vent valves or take any caps off. There was a time when there was a hose that came off of that thing, came down along the side of the trailer near the ladder, and then there was a cap on it, and we'd have to open the cap up and then close it after we were loaded. or unloaded. But what had happened was then they did freeze because a little bit of water sloshes out of there as we're driving. And so it would come down that tube, collect at the bottom where the cap was, and then freeze, and then we'd have problems. And then over time it would just constrict, like hardening of the arteries. So they came up with the elbow system, and it works really well. Like I said, even on the coldest mornings, we have not had a problem with any of the vents freezing. So it works well, and since it's potable water, it's spring water, you know, if you hit the brakes and it kind of splashes up and into the tube and runs down the side, it's not a hazardous material. Again, you know, it drips onto the street and it evaporates. So not a problem with that. But that's how we vent these trailers. We don't have to do anything special. They kind of vent themselves. So, but anyway, we are here loading. Didn't have to tap the cap off because what I do is I spray it with a little bit of alcohol before I leave the shop. And then it melts that water, and then it evaporates it, and the cap comes right off. I'll spray that cap again before I close her up, and then we won't have a problem down at the plant when we need to open it up. So that's kind of how things work. And so we're loading, and once we're done, we're rolling southbound, and we'll talk to you a little bit more. All right, by now you know the routine. We are loaded and we are rolling. Nothing coming, so we come right out. Take our time going down the road. They want us to hold to the speed limit on this road, which is, as you can see here, 25 miles an hour. It used to be 35, and I don't know whether it had to do with the volume of water trucks coming in here, or the fact that there's a truck repair shop there and just the volume of trucks in general coming in here, or if they just wanted all traffic to slow down. But they dropped the speed limit from 35 to 25, and they kind of, not that any cop sits back here and shoots us with radar or VASCAR or times us or anything like that, but they want us to hold to the speed limit. So we do. We just want to keep peace with the neighbors. And I don't really have a problem with it. The only road that I think is a little ridiculous is the one that goes up to the Red Barn. That one speed limit's 25 as well, but they want us to do 15, and that just is a little excessively slow. Not to mention that anybody who isn't in on the idea of us going 10 miles an hour under the speed limit gets royally ticked off. Last summer there was a video that I had shot. I caught it on video where the guy passed me right down there at the bottom at the stop sign. I mean, if somebody would have been turning in off at 309, they would have head on the dude. So some people get pretty ticked off with how slow we go up and down that road, but that's what they want, so that's what we do. Even on here, sometimes people get antsy behind us, and we are doing the speed limit because a lot of the four-wheelers, they come ripping through here. I don't know if they're residents or not, but they don't care about the speed limit, and they'll roll through here at 35 or 40. And, which isn't that good. It's a little bit fast for a little country road like this, but some people do. But this is probably the easiest well to get out of because we got a stoplight down here at the end of the road to get out on the 309. You've seen how it works coming out of Red Barn and even out of the well in the woods. Now, I don't know. This one just turned green, so I don't know if we'll be fortunate enough to get through it before it turns, or if we're going to have to sit for the next light cycle. Let's see. No, we're going to get it. It lasted long enough. So the next thing to think about, talk about is I looked at the last driver that was in there, and he must be running all of his out of there, and the 3-hour gap between his first load and his second load. So what that tells me is that we may be in a one at a time situation down there at the plant. And you've seen that before. We've talked about it before. It is what it is. Doesn't bother me if it is that way. It's just the nature of the business. And really, you could have longer waits in freight than you do with our water. So not a problem to me, but there is a possibility that we get down there and we have to wait to unload. So we will see. I didn't call anybody, and it doesn't matter really at this point, because whether I call them or not, the end result is going to be the same. So we'll just find out for ourselves when we get there. All right, well, we're here. Well, almost here. We need to wait for a couple cars here before we can turn in. I did talk to our other driver that was running down here, and he said it wasn't doing the greatest, so we will see. Always a lineup of freight haulers out here waiting to come in to pick up loads, but unless we have the van, they're of no consequence to us. But oh boy, we are going to sit here for a while. Well, as I showed you coming in here, we're going to sit for a while. I went off and checked in so they know what time I got here so that we can get detention pay for our wait. But we are going to be here for a while. It's one at a time, and it was actually a bit of time between unloads. When I say one at a time, usually as soon as one truck is done, the light comes on and the next guy can unload, but sometimes there's a delay in between 15, 20, 25 minutes when one guy shuts down his pump and the next one can start. So we will see what happens, but we may be down here for a while. No. It's never fun, it's not desirable, but it is what it is. It's what happens, and we deal with it. So the only thing is, it's going to put me back on that Lansdale run, and it might put me down there at rush hour, which I'm trying to avoid. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk to you later, let you know how long it takes us to get unloaded and get out of here. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the right. I don't think I can make this left. I got a truck next to me on each side. And with the turning radius of this thing, and the fact that somebody just backed into dock number 2, I don't think I'm going to get out of here. So I'm going to go to the right, where I got plenty of room to do the flip, and then come around and wait for a guy to leave, because I'm about to get onto the pad now once he does leave. So, but yeah, it would be a lot of work. I can see it already, because I have to go almost out to these trailers before I can spin, and there's all the turning radius I got. So we're just gonna go this way, flip around, and then wait for that guy to leave while I still got all these open docks to work with. He leaves soon. I don't know what's taking him so long to get in the truck. Nah, he's getting in the truck now, okay. Let's see, what I wanted to do was, before they put somebody in one of those docks I needed to spin around, I figured I'd get out here. There isn't a lot of room to do a flip, and if you got a truck that has a tight turning radius, you can get it done, but with this thing you can't. I mean, I have to back up a couple times, but yeah, this KEC trucking that's sitting here, he would have messed me up for trying to get out of that spot. So we're just gonna do what we did, and hopefully he gets out of here soon and I can at least back on, and not gonna get me out of this place any quicker. And what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna get down there at rush hour and have a hard time down in Lansdale because of this. I won't get down there till at the earliest 3 o'clock. And once I get down there at 3 o'clock, then it's a disaster, as you've seen. So but here we go. Half the battle's won. At least we're backing onto the pad. We're in. All right, 2 o'clock, and we are finally empty and ready to get out of here. So I got here at 10:25, so 3.5 hours to unload my first load of water today. But what that's going to do is that is going to put me down in Lansdale at the absolute worst possible time. I'm going to get down there probably between 5 and 5:30, and you saw my last video when I got down there between 5 and 5:30 how bad the traffic was and what I had to deal with, and that's what we're looking at again, unless I stop on the turnpike and grab me a little supper and maybe get down there about 6 o'clock. And by then, maybe the worst of the traffic will have gotten through there and things will have subsided, and maybe we won't have as hard of a time backing in off the street. So I don't know. We'll have to see. At first, we got to get up to the well in the woods and load, but we're going to get up there probably about 2:45 maybe. Half hour to load, 3:15. Gonna get down there probably right around 5 o'clock. The worst possible time. Ay vey. And the last time I was down there, I did it with a tractor that at least had a good turning radius. Now I got to do it with this thing, which I like this truck, but the turning radius is going to complicate that just a little bit and make it a little bit more difficult. So let's see. That's the whole thing I was trying to avoid. I had asked about and got permission yesterday to run Lansdale as my second load instead of my third load, so I could get down there prior to rush hour, and now we ran into this today where I'm going to get down there at the worst time. 3 o'clock is bad enough. 5 o'clock is worse. All right, well, we're on the road that takes us back here to the well in the woods. I'm at a loss for words already. You know what I'm hoping for down here. I'm hoping that nobody's here. And the reason for that, I'm hoping I can catch a window of opportunity down there. 3 o'clock is when the middle school across the street dismisses. So probably between 3 and 3:30 is when traffic can be really bad with parents picking up their kids. And then I don't know what the story was when we got down there at 5 and 5:15 that had traffic so heavy, but I'm hoping I can catch a window of opportunity where there might be a lull in the rush hour where there isn't quite as much traffic. Maybe a business hasn't let out yet and the school has already let out, and then we can catch some kind of lull and get in there without too much fanfare, and nobody's here. That's a good thing. So I really really want to get loaded and get out of here. That's my hope. I was thinking about stopping on the turnpike and getting a supper and trying to go in on the backside of rush hour, but maybe I can catch a lull. I don't know. I don't know how traffic works down there. I don't know if it starts at 3 o'clock and just continues nonstop, or if you get a little break and then something else happens that picks it back up again. So we will see, but we're here. I'm gonna flip around here, get back on, and hopefully get this thing loaded fairly quickly. Well, we got here just in time. As you can see, there's another truck next to me. We got him by 5 minutes. So if we would have got here 5 minutes later, we'd have had to wait a half hour or maybe 35 minutes for him to load that 8. So we got here at a good time. We were fortunate, and we are loading. And I can't talk to you out there now because there's a couple guys here, so I figured I'd talk to you quick in the cab. But we're loading, gonna go out and talk to them until we're done and get out of here. And like I said, try to get down there and hope and pray for a window of opportunity where there's not too much traffic. All right, so we're loaded and rolling, my famous catchphrase. And now this guy's gonna go ahead of me probably, and I hope he decides he's gonna move and not lollygag, because I want to try and make up time, because the GPS has me getting there at 4:05, and I'm hoping that 4:05 is right between the school dismissal and the other part of rush hour. I'm hoping, like I said, we catch a window of opportunity where traffic is a little bit lighter and I won't have a problem backing in. That's my whole worry. I like going down there. It's not a bad run if you can get there off traffic peak. If you get there off traffic peak, then it's a good run. If you get there at traffic peak and you have a hard time backing in off that street, then it becomes a lousy run. So I'm really hoping that we find a window of opportunity and can get it done without being yelled at and cursed at and being told we're number one and horns blowing and everything else. I don't want to have happen what happened last time where we blocked up that whole intersection. So hopefully, and cross our fingers that everything will work out and we'll be able to do what we need to do quickly, efficiently, safely, and so forth and so on. But anyway, we're rolling. Got to get out 309 and pull that blue, and then at least this truck does the speed limit, so we should be able to hold that ETA that Google Maps is telling us. Alright, we made it down here to 78, and we're at 4:08 p.m. for an ETA. So I feel that with traffic lights down there, we'd probably get there about 4:15. So like I said, hopefully what I'm hoping for works. Because I know up in Tamaqua that there is a gap in the rush hour from when school lets out and some of the other businesses let out. So I'm hoping that that's the case, because when I got down there that week at 5:15, that traffic was just unreal. I'd actually never seen it quite that jammed up, and so I'm thinking that there was a business that had let out, or a warehouse, factory, whatever you want to say, but something let out, and that's why there was so much traffic on that road, more than usual. Because I mean, sometimes it is backed up past the driveway, but not as bad as it was that day. And so I'm hoping that somehow we do all right with this. But we're on 78, and we're going to need to jump over one more lane here. And of course, 100 just dumped a lot of traffic up on here, so I don't know. We're going to find ourselves a gap and get over, because we need to get over. Because we need to take 22 to get to 476. And we were able to do it. So that's good. But traffic is considerably heavy on here right now, 3:32 p.m. So we will see. All right, well, the moment of truth is upon us. We'll have to see what we have when we turn this corner up here. There's the school on our left. Now, most of dismissal should be done. I don't think we're going to make this light. I don't know, we're not going yet for some reason. This is where the problem lies, is this light, and you can see traffic is heavy already, because usually I can roll right up to this light, and we're stopped way the heck back here. And I'm going to have to cheat left, even more so with this truck than I did with the Mack. And try and let those two go. Both of them. Nope. I know where he's going. He's going over on the milk side of this place. So I don't want to hold him up. Now, hopefully I can make this turn and there isn't going to be too much traffic at this queue. But let's see how much comes off of there. See, there's a lot of traffic in there. And what screwed things up last time was the people making the left from the other direction decided to keep on coming, and they jammed this whole intersection up because I couldn't move to set up to do my back. And I certainly can't make this right turn on red because of all the traffic that's coming up out of there. But see, it just keeps coming. This road is not a super busy road off peak, but it is now. Well, usually is now. Alright, I'm going to be able to do this. Alright, I'm going to be able to do this. Gonna be able to do this. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God there was nothing coming. Of course, I have the hard dock again. Oh boy. One that's easy, one that's intermediate, and one that's difficult. I got the difficult one. But as long as I get in there, then I can wiggle around. Oh boy. I can't quite get in there. See, without a good turning radius, I can't follow up quick enough. Now we did it. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Look at the traffic coming though. You'll see they keep on coming. But I had my window of opportunity. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for giving me that window of opportunity to get in here. I was really stressing this one out today. Really stressing this one out today. Now I got to move back over again because I was in a hurry to get off the street. So I gotta move it over a little bit. And get it in the right position. That looks pretty good. Push back. Alright, so when I mentioned the harder one, the one closest to that white wall is the easiest trailer to back in. And then the one that I'm hooked to, the empty that I'm going to take back, is the second easiest one to take in. The one that I just dropped, which is that one, is the hardest one to take in because you have to jack that one harder coming in off the street, and you have to watch that you don't curb it on the other side and go up into the grass. So now I gotta take the long walk around the front of the building to go use a Job Johnny on the other side. That's the only restroom they have, and I can't walk through the alcove that would lead to the loading docks because you have to have PPE because there's a conveyor belt or something over the top of it. So I have to walk all the way around the front. That's the other thing. When I get down here, a lot of times I gotta go to the bathroom pretty bad by the time I get here, and you're backing off the street when you gotta pee like a racehorse, and that doesn't make things any easier. But actually, I was worried, but we got down here, and the window of opportunity that I was praying for came true, so we're in good shape. All I gotta do is take this walk and walk on back to the truck, then we can head on up. But I'm not sure we're gonna do that last one because I can't sit down there for 4 hours again like the last time, or I won't get back in time for my night shift partner. So, but I'll talk to you more about that on the way back. I just gotta find this restroom. I mean, I know where it's at, but it's a little bit of a hike. So I'll talk to you in a minute. All right, so it is 4:45 right now. Till I get out of here and get back up to the well I'm supposed to load at, it's gonna probably be 6 to 6:15. And then 20 minutes to load, but 30 minutes overall till you hook the hose up and disconnect and button everything up and do what you need to do. So what did I say, 6:15? It'd be 6:45. It's at between 6:30 and 6:45 until I get out of there. Then it's an hour ride down there, so that's 7:30 going on 8 o'clock. Even if it went perfect, I'd have a hard time getting back in time for her. But if I'd have to sit down there and wait on any trucks and wait on the lights to come on, well, then I'm going to bleed over into her shift. So I don't think I'm going to do that last one. I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think it's right. If my shift goes sideways, she shouldn't have to pay the price by waiting for me and possibly losing a load on her shift. I'll eat the load on my shift. It's just, to me, it's the right thing to do. So, but I won't have to fuel tonight because I only did 2 loads. She'll have plenty for her shift, but that's the way it's looking right now, unless I get a phone call otherwise from one of the drivers and then everything is moving along. But I just talked to one right now and he was sitting down there waiting for a light to come on. So it ain't right yet, so it probably isn't going to be right later on. If he had to wait for a light, then that's still the game that's being played. The silos are full and it's at the very minimum 1 at a time. So if I get down there and there's 1 or 2 trucks ahead of me, I'm waiting 40 minutes to an hour depending on if they're 6s or 8s. So it just won't work out for me to do another load. But now all we got to do is try and get out of here, and I'll show you that. I'll show you the escape. But we did get down here at 4:15 like I thought we would, and so now it's 4:45, half hour drop and hook, and now we're gonna roll. Now this guy came out right now, and I got my exit coming up here in a half a mile, so we'll just hit the brakes and let him come out. We made it up here to Allentown. Darkness has fallen, or almost fallen. It's still slightly light, but the night is settling in. Now that was actually 3/4 of a mile from the ramp that 4-wheeler came off of, which was the Allentown Service Plaza. Here is the Allentown exit up here. So we made it back to this point. So I figured I'd show it to you because this interchange is still a work in progress. They are removing the toll booths, but they haven't removed the concrete islands yet, so you gotta still kind of squeeze through, but not like it was before where you had to watch your mirrors on the toll booth buildings. But they're still a little bit tight, but I guess eventually they're gonna jackhammer those concrete islands out and then patch over them and make straight through lanes. So I'm not sure if I want to top off for my night shift partner or not. Right now I am at 3/4 tank, or tanks as it were, and this truck will easily do 2 shifts, even if you have 4 loads apiece. So, and I'm only doing 2. One was longer than the other, sat most of the day, but she should have enough to do her shift. Yeah, here, see, once this opens up, it's going to be a lot better, but you still got to kind of come over here to the right and then go through these, what used to be the toll plazas. No way, that guy's going to cut off that 4-wheeler. Oh, jeez. Anyway, so we're taking the ramp to westbound 22. There's a tight one. Many a truck has rolled over on this ramp. Well, many a truck has rolled over on all these turnpike ramps because they're super tight. I don't know, there had to have been enough real estate for them, or maybe there wasn't because there's houses over there, but these ramps are, for the most part, are very tight all over the turnpike, and so guys come off the main line or whatever and they hit the ramp and they're going too fast and over they go. Alright, so get back out here on 22, merge on the 78, and then jump off 100. Alright, well, I changed my mind. I decided I'm going to top off the fuel anyway. It did come off 3/4. It's halfway between half and 3/4, so I decided that I'm just going to top it off for her. That way she has full tanks to run tonight. It's a courtesy thing. I just feel bad if I don't top them off for her. So nobody's here. It won't take long. So I'm just going to come in here, give her some fuel, give her some full tanks. So I don't know what she has. If she's only going to Fogelsville, she would have definitely enough to run with. But if she's got Allentowns and Reddings, then it's a little bit different. That they take up more fuel. So we're just gonna top it off for her and be done with it. Then that way I feel good that I, didn't leave her with not enough fuel. All right, fueling is complete. Now we gotta pretty much almost make a U-turn to get out of here, to head south to get onto 895. So depending on the traffic situation, this can be easy or it can be difficult. And we gotta wait for this 4-wheeler here anyway. He's doing the same thing we're doing. So, but there's quite a bit of traffic coming down from Tamaqua. Oh, quite a bit of traffic coming up from Allentown too. Let's see, is he gonna try it? No, oh, he had plenty of time to get out. It's gonna take a little while, because now there's a big truck coming down from Tamaqua and there's another car coming. Like I said, sometimes this can be really easy and sometimes this can be really difficult, and I guess because it's 6 o'clock, it's a little more difficult. But this one, they did have an opportunity to get out and they blew it. Now they should go now, but I'm not going to be able to go. Now I can go. And I think our owner-operator is heading back to the well there. Yep, he is turning. All right, and we got to turn here and head back to the yard. I need to give him a call real quick. All right. We'll talk to you back at the yard. Alright, so we're back. We got ourselves a decent parking spot for once tonight. For the kind of day we had, something went right. Well, actually, a few things went right, despite some of the things that went wrong. But we're going to post-trip this thing in a minute and close out the paperwork, put all the cameras away, and head on home. But I guess safe to say, it could have been a better day than what it was. It could have been worse, but it could have been better. I don't usually mind sitting down there waiting to unload, but it really put me behind the 8 ball with going down to Lansdale, and I got very fortunate to get a window of opportunity to be able to duck in that driveway and come back out and set up and back in and do what we needed to do. Only by the grace of God, but so that part worked out, but hopefully we don't have another day like that tomorrow. I'd rather get down there, like I said, before 3 p.m. because if you get down there before 3 p.m., there's no doubts and no worries. You don't have a hard time. But after 3 p.m., you don't know what you're going to get down there. So, but anyway, we're done. We're going to head home, and we'll talk to you in the next one.